you, Brendan, but I'm still, I would say I'm floating down from it, but I feel like this music, it's called the Magnificent 11. I feel magnificent still about the Missouri Tigers' victory on Saturday.
Oh, that was a beautiful thing.
It was
magnificent. A beautiful thing. It was a magnificent day in mid-Missouri, a magnificent day in Columbia. Wow. Yeah, I know I missed Wednesday's show, so I haven't gotten to really react with you to that game.
Your soapbox.
Holy crap.
Take it.
It was, I mean, what's still to be said that hasn't been said? You couldn't have scripted it any better. Like, would it have been fewer heart palpitations if Mizzou wins it 42-3 and it's not a sweat? Absolutely. But would it have been as satisfying? Maybe not. And I think we learned a little bit about the resolve of this Mizzou team. Like, we knew that last year's team did this kind of thing, right? They would get behind. They'd be down but not out. They would find a way to claw back in. And those close games, those one-score games, this would have been a one-score game, but Jamal Roberts decided to house one from 63 yards away. But it was that type of game once again. And this year's team showing that new quarterback doesn't matter. New wide receiver one doesn't matter. New left tackle doesn't matter. New right tackle, freshman kicker. Like, you could go down the list. It's got the same kind of heartbeat that last year's team had. That's what I saw from the win over KU. And 21-6 didn't mean anything to them. 31-28 deficit, whatever, how many times they were down. Yeah. They would find a way to come back. Unbelievable to do it against that rival. I don't know how good Kansas is. I know there's been a lot of consternation about like how excited should Mizzou fans be about beating Kansas. I mean, I think any level of excitement is appropriate because of the rivalry and because Kansas is probably a pretty good team. Does it mean, we've won a national championship? No, there's a long way to go, but this was step one. This was always step one. And they passed it. Maybe not in the way that we expected to see, but I think people are coming around to this offense, Grant. I think people are pumped about what Prbula, what the running backs, Norfleet. I mean, Kevin Coleman. They've got a group of dudes on that side of the ball. There's no doubt about that at this point.
Yeah, without a doubt, they have a group of dudes. And I think, Brendan, you bring up an interesting point because it felt like last year's team, I don't know how tested they were before A&M, before their travels to Texas A&M. Yes, obviously with Vandy, that was a test.
Went to a billion
times. But I should say, thinking of their non-conference, Boston College, it ended up being a 6-point game, but it was one of those games
That's
you kind of,
yeah,
but you kind of had control in the whole time. They didn't have a test like this where, look, you got punched in the mouth right away. Both in those Vandy games and that Boston College game, they were leading for a majority of the game. Things got hairy at the end. They win. They didn't have look, you're down 15 points. If we don't buck up soon, we're gonna get thrown off this horse. You know what I mean? They didn't have
21-6 is different.
And now you would hope at a time, there will probably be a time this season where Missouri's trailing by a touchdown or two. They can go back to this and have that resolve, and that was big. It was an incredible win. And we've talked about it a ton on these airways, other airways, but it was just exactly what was needed for this season to feel like how it should. And now you have a chance. You're going to learn a lot from this Louisiana Lafayette game, but a chance to continue to keep the wheels in motion. Go play, be the better team, win by 3-4 touchdowns, and let's move on to South Carolina.
Yeah, I think this week's game is not in the same category and needs to not be in the same category, because if you get down 21-6 in this one, we do have some problems. I think we'll be looking at that defense going, wait a second, what's going on here? So, different vibe for this one, but one where it feels, I think there's a very business-like approach to how Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri wants to handle this one. And, game time moving up because of the heat factor, that's something that, comes about yesterday. I think it's going to be a week to, avoid the distraction of everything going on, avoid thinking ahead to, are we getting game day? Are we not? Like, just go out and pummel a team that you're better than on, just every side of the football. And that would be, I think, a nice accomplishment this week.
Am I crazy to say, if we're talking about the game change, is it hotter at noon?
Yeah, you're not crazy, but the reason you're wrong is
because the warm-ups.
It's mostly Well, it's about the warm-ups and I think the turf. I think the turf, as you get later into the day, it's got rubber pellets on it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the part that I think is most, that was my first impression. I don't know that for sure, but that's my best guess. And nobody has told me anything different than that of like, what's going to be the most significant difference. The turf is going to be in a better spot for the players. Like you've had situations before where you're talking about on these kind of rubber pellet turf fields where like dudes' plastic cleats can melt.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's probably the fact that when you're playing a game at 3:00, it's not roll out there at 3 p.m. and okay, now it's going to start to get cooler. It's you're on the field at 1:00 and 2:00, like the whole heat of the day. You're out there. Whereas it'll be like the heat of the day, the biggest, spot at 3:00 as this game is ending now, starting at noon. But you won't have had that 5 hours of severe dehydration and like it'll still be hot. Don't get me wrong. But I think that the timing does make more sense when you think about all those factors.
And your body at that point is kind of used to it, I guess. By the time we're wrapping up this fourth quarter, you have your adrenaline pumping. Right. Yeah, I agree with that. And
hydrate like hell, but
yes,
that's still going to be a challenge. But no, I think this is a more than reasonable way that they're going.
Which is kind of strange because normally you see maybe that first August game by September. What will the date be? Tomorrow, 13th. You're normally not worried about 96 degrees. Not that it can't still be hot, but not this hot.
False fall.
Yeah.
We had our false fall.
We got tricked. Yeah,
and I said,
we were bamboozled.
This is real. This is real fall, and then I was wrong. It wasn't.
We were running amok
again this weekend.
It was. Now we've seen some big teams in the SEC sleepwalk against their bye games, especially coming off big wins. We saw LSU only win 23-7. A&M messed around a little bit with Utsa. They didn't mess around with Utah State, but they definitely didn't annihilate Utah State. South Carolina,
they didn't cover.
They did not cover. South Carolina looked sleepwalky against South Carolina State. They had two punt return touchdowns to help inflate that score a little bit, but I think that is where what you can't do if you're Missouri. I'm not saying even if you come out and you're sleepwalking that you can lose this game, but if they win this game, I don't know, 24-7, it's going to be like, oh, maybe they're not
like that as much.
If you come out 35-7, 38-10, you just come out, you look good, you beat this FBS team. Bo doesn't have to play all four quarters. You can walk out saying, okay, we're good. Let's go into South Carolina. Let's carry that momentum. You don't want to have the worries then entering that SC game.
Yeah, I think that's right. And like there are aspects of this one where you look at the opponent and what they've done. I think they've had like 86 and 88 passing yards across their first two games, respectively. This is not a team that's thrown the ball well. And so if you're the back end of the defense that doesn't like it when people disrespect you and with their score predictions and what have you, go out there and
who was that? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, you did. And I think that Dalen Carnell and this back end of the defense need to be like responsible for pitching a shutout this week.
Yeah.
It's a team that against Rice and McNeese State hasn't passed for 100 yards.
Yep.
Mizzou secondary should have no problem with these guys. They should be able to lock them down and embarrass them.
And they also
football. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they also have a quarterback kind of issue. Walker Howard started the first game, and then Daniel Beals started the second game and played all of it against McNeese State. So this wasn't like a quarterback competition thing. Howard played all of game one. Beal played all of game two. So just wanted to say that. Okay.
Beal started game two. Beal is expected to start on Saturday in Columbia, but he threw for 88 yards against McNeese State.
Yeah.
What they do well, Louisiana, is run the football. The degree to which that's going to be possible against Missouri, we'll see. Kansas had a really good time running the football for 2 weeks, and then they didn't, right?
Yeah.
Mizzou stopped them in their tracks. The running backs, quarterbacks, nobody could do anything. So this is a game that I go into very rarely. Do I think, can you say this, especially against an FBS opponent? But the goal should be to shut these guys out. Like, I do not allow a touchdown, do not allow a point. I think that's a legitimate goal. And the way that I heard Drinkwitz talk about things at his Tuesday press conference tells me that like that might be on the mind in the building, where he didn't come out and say, my goodness, how great were we against Kansas? He said, we looked at the tape. Here's where we got to be better. He was kind of a little bit harsh. And I wonder if this is a week where he really gets after the defense and Batoon and that defensive coaching staff gets after those guys and says, like, don't let these guys score on you. like really set the tone, because
Mhm.
once it's Lenora Sellers, then it's a different level when it comes to margin for error. And I think they want to see no errors this weekend as a practice, a dry run for South Carolina.
I'm also very happy with how this schedule is shaking out, because if there were any kinks in this offensive system, which obviously it looked like last week there weren't, but if there's anything
Right.
still, hey, we need to work this out. Maybe Bo needs to work on some timing still with some receivers, which again, it didn't look like it, but that doesn't mean that there's not. Elijah Drinkowitz was critical of Perbula's jitteriness, I guess you can say, in the pocket. Maybe he broke out a little too soon at times, and it resulted in negative losses, sacks, throwaways. Maybe those are things you work on, that just to be perfect in this game. And being able to stop the run, Brendan, is something that you look at this SEC schedule. A lot of these teams, you think of Auburn, you think of Alabama right now with their quarterback struggles. You think of South Carolina, Texas A&M even. They want to run the ball to open up the pass game. And if Missouri finds a way to shut down the run game in these big games they have coming up, that front seven, it could get dangerous for this Missouri defense, because it also then helps out the DBs in the secondary if they have to pass the ball to move the rock.
Yeah, and when you have an opposing quarterback that knows what they're doing at the college level, like, it's not having a shutdown secondary is not this given that it is at the NFL level where you expect it. Secondary is usually the first thing to have a problem when it comes to a collegiate defense. Like, even a good defense is going to have leaky spots at times in the secondary. It's hard to cover guys. Those guys on the other side are talented. The quarterbacks know where they're supposed to run, and you don't. And so, like, it's the advantage in this version of college football generally goes to the offense. But when Mizzou shut it down against Kansas and they couldn't run the ball, which was their bread and butter for the first 2 weeks, now you are putting it all on Jalen Daniels, and they did a pretty good job of not letting him run wild.
Yeah.
And so now he's got one dimension. He's got to beat you with his arm. And at times he did, and Mizzou got away with some things for sure. And that's why I think it was right that Drinkwitz harped on that the most in his presser on Tuesday. Like, that's the thing they've got to be able to show a proof of concept this week of, like, this isn't Lenora Sellers. This isn't Jalen Daniels. This is a team that can't throw the ball to save its life. Don't let him throw it on you once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there needs to be treat it like there is no margin for error, because next week there won't be. And you may not get away with some of the things you got away with where Jalen Daniels overthrew a guy, receiver drops a ball. Like, there were things that Mizzou got away with last week that they were fortunate to get away with. I think you have to really treat this one like it's as good of a dry run, of a rehearsal as you're going to get, where, yeah, this week you might not, same thing. You probably won't get, it won't cost you the game if you give up a bomb and somebody had miscommunication. Drink talked about that with the zone defense.
Yeah.
Guys maybe having some confusion on the back end. It won't cost you this week, but you'll start to feel a little bit concerned if it's not fixed this week, because you know what's coming next in South Carolina. So that's sort of the way that I look at it. You mentioned it with the offense and Bo. I think Drink was kind of in that mode if I'm going to be overly critical to make sure guys aren't, kind of resting on their laurels after winning the big rivalry game. Like, pointing out things that weren't even really a problem. I thought Bo's decision-making and timing was actually just about impeccable. The one thing that you maybe, and I thought he ran not enough for my liking, because I know what a weapon he can be with his legs. There was the one play where he fumbles and it's a scoop and score. I think that probably is what you could reference and say, but that was the 3rd and 2. And I feel like he was just trying to get the first down, and that's kind of what he's here for. So I didn't really have a single thing to say that's a gripe about the offense. The offensive line played well. Jadis was getting some love from national publications. Caden Green's PFF grade was off the chart. And take pride in shutting these guys down.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme you see with mobile quarterbacks at college, is that, and coaches don't always love it, is that, on a 3rd and 5, yeah, maybe he's got a guy wide open for that 5-yard gain to get the first down, but also he's got a wide open lane and can just use his legs and slide down and get the 5-7 yards a little easier. Like, they tend to break the pocket a little bit more, where then if you're watching on Sundays, 99 out of 100 times, no matter how mobile the quarterback is, he's going to chuck it down to his tight end open in the middle of the field for the 5-7 yards instead of using his legs. Like, it just how
depends, though. It depends on, like, it's safer to run it if you
yes,
have
I agree with you. Yeah,
lane,
yeah.
So I don't mind that when you got to move the chains.
I don't disagree.
The guy in college might not catch the ball. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So I don't I don't mind it. But like I said, I think Drink was very much like, let's harp on the details because we don't want to treat this game like it's a walkover. Because if we do, we'll win it by a touchdown or so. And then we're really scrambling going into a South Carolina game. Dominate this week. Pretend you're facing the Gamecocks. I mean, really, you have to respect your opponent. But as we sit here on the radio and look at the way that the Louisiana team profiles, this should be a really, really good feast for the defense.
It's a bad Sun Belt team. Like
they stink offensively.
They're not. They're not
they
very good. They're not very good. Rice isn't very good, and they lost to Rice at home. They're not. They're not a great team. And it's. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a step up from Central Arkansas. They are going to be much better than Central Arkansas was.
They might be. I'm not overly convinced that it looks that different.
But
it could be. I mean, if they can run the ball a little bit, they'll be able to control the clock more than I want to see them do.
But yeah, I think it's just big to come out and compete. But as Missouri has, I don't want to call it a trap game or a lame duck game because I don't want to overlook the opponent because we've seen teams lose when they're big favorites. And I wanted to talk about that before we take our first break. I want to talk about Florida, Brendan, because they lose to USF. Maybe USF, it's tough to know. Is USF better than we thought, or Boise and Florida just a little worse than we thought? I think it's somewhere in the middle.
We're about to find out because Miami's actually really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that they handled Notre Dame impressed me week one.
But,
so that'll tell the tale this coming weekend.
But even if, let's say, USF lose by 14 to Miami on the road, are you going to say, oh, this is a bad team? Like, I don't think either way you can say. Now, if they lose by 30, maybe you're like, oh.
Then we're doing that transitive property thing when it comes to Florida.
Yes, but if they lose by I'll say it's a 17.5 point spread, and we're going to be picking spreads later. At least it was the last time I looked. If they lose by that, let's say they lose by 17 and cover the spread, I still wouldn't be saying, oh, USF, they might not be very good. Like, you're going against a really good team on the road. That happens. Like, I still think they could be the group of 5 team, but Florida, man, like, I'm shocked Billy Napier still has a job. I'm shocked.
I'm not shocked by that. You've got
his buyout's very large.
And that was their first game of the year. I mean, it didn't go well. Now it doesn't let up for Florida. Your next 3 weeks are at LSU, at Miami, hosting Texas. At the end of that stretch, if he doesn't find a way to win one of those games, then we could maybe be 1-4.
Yeah,
like
their schedule is.
Now, does it benefit you to fire him in the middle of the season, or do you say, like, let's try to give him a chance to go into A&M later in the year? Let's clean up Mississippi State at home. Let's go to Kentucky and win. Like, there's wins on the schedule, but if you get to the end of the season and he didn't find 7 of them, then we're having we'll see, man. How reactionary will they be with that buyout, I guess, is the main question for Florida.
I think with Florida, though, and fans, this has been the Billy Napier discourse for the last 3 years. Well, let's give him a chance. Wow, he got to 6.
This was not supposed to be the year.
No, he got to 7 wins this season. He made a bowl and won a bowl game. Like, oh, okay, like, this team wasn't very good. Let's give him next year. Same thing. All right, but look how much improvement. We beat this team, and we won 8 games. Like, it's not what Florida fans want. I don't think, unless he goes 9-3, 10-2, I don't think he has a job after this year. I don't think they'll be reactionary and fire him.
Enough. I think if they can get to 8-4, it would be enough, but they might be 1-4. They're not going to be favored in any of their next 3 games. The spread at LSU is only about a touchdown, and LSU has that big win over Clemson that's really propping up their ranking right now, which is not wrong. But like, it's going to look even better if they go to number 3 and win. If they go to Clemson they go to LSU this weekend and lose by a field goal, we're going, all right. I mean, but at a certain point, those are going to have to turn into wins. You can't count close losses, especially when one of them is against a team that you were favored to beat by 18 points and you lost at home. They were favored by 18, and Grant, they didn't score 18. Like, they didn't score that many points in the game. That's not good.
I feel like if it's one of those losses, like you lose 41 to 38, it's like, okay, like, man, that was our defense might stink, but they just were throwing the ball all around the field. Our offense was responding, but this one's almost worse. 18 to 16, wasn't that the final score? Like,
yeah,
it feels. Am I wrong to say that it feels worse than if you lose 40 to 38?
Yes, I agree. Like, if I'm Kansas, looking at the way I lost to Mizzou, and that was a closer projected spread. Mizzou was the favorite.
And it was closer than an 11-point game.
Yeah, closer than an 11-point game. And I would look at it and say, did Kansas come away from that game feeling better or worse about their team? I think it's not worse. I think they put up 31 points against a good Mizzou team. I think their defense has questions for sure.
Yeah.
And we're going to see, how good that. But I still think Kansas comes away as one of the better offenses in the country.
But what defenses doesn't have questions?
Yeah,
a few,
exactly right. So
5.
my point is, that's my point though, is like for Kansas, it stings probably to have lost that game, and it's a rivalry game, of course. But like they put up over 30 points. Their defense made plays at times to get that scoop and score. If you're Florida and you lose a game like that, it stings. But I don't know. Maybe it's you still move the ball. You still felt good about things and aspects of your game. But the fact that it was, the offense was shut down like that. My question is, if it's 38-13 on Saturday night in Death Valley, that could be where Billy Napier has to be hoping that he might turn that phone to mute.
Yeah, he might put D&D on.
He might put the headphones on the team plane on the way back to Gainesville and be like, I can't, la, 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 la.
I have no service. Oh, no.
Sorry. Like, he's like, sir, I'm tapping you on the shoulder. I'm on the plane. So, no. I'm watching Despicable Me 2. Please leave me alone. Like, if it's a blowout at LSU, then we could be having that conversation, Grant, buyout or not. Like, he needs to cover that spread. I'm not saying a 10-point loss and he'll get fired, but like, he needs to let that game go down to the last possession to at least show people that they're not that South Florida thing was an anomaly. That's what they need to try to prove on Saturday for Billy Ball.
I would agree with that. Is that there could be a situation where money doesn't matter and Billy Napier has forced their hand. Okay.
It gets to that point eventually. It gets there eventually for sure.
I think so.
They're going to be 1-4, Grant, if they don't pull off an upset. At Miami, you host Texas. I think you maybe give him to the Texas game. That's a home game that can be a, legitimate win for the program. And if you don't think, I guess, unless you think firing him gives you a better chance to save your season and win that game. But that might be the cutoff point for me is the Texas game.
Yeah. If you're 1-4, this schedule is brutal. I mean,
it is, but
you're supposed
now, like it lightens up a little bit later.
And you
don't get to later if you don't show good.
And you're supposed to be one of these teams. You have a guy that projects as a top 5-10 pick eventually in the NFL draft.
He's getting more love for the Heisman than our guy. Shouldn't be.
Yeah. And
shouldn't be.
Oh, man.
I like DJ Lagway. I want
like
to do well.
I like
Grant,
him too.
But he's got to do well. He's got to go out there and do it.
I like USF.
Yeah, if they can hang with Miami this weekend.
Awesome. On the CW? Really how do I stream the CW?
Is that what it is? The CW, really?
Yeah, it's on the CW.
Oh, man. What a time to be alive.
We'll find it somewhere. Do you think that, like, the execs there were like, this Miami USF before the season, we got a top 20 matchup.
It's a great matchup.
It's a great game. It might be the best game on the slate. So
I'll tell you later what the best game on the slate is.
Ooh.
When we're doing our picks. I'll tell you. There's one that's clear to me, and it might not be the one you're thinking.
Okay. We got a few more games I want to discuss before we get into our picks. We'll take a quick break. Talk about Mississippi State's big upset. The Commodores looked really, really good in Virginia, and Oklahoma could be one of the best teams in the SEC. This is MIZ-STL with Grant Salzman and Brendan Schaefer. We'll talk all that and give our picks because we both won you some money last week. We'll try to do that again this week. We're right back on the Loot Information Station.
You've seen this.
And we're back on MIZ-STL on the Lou Information Station, live and on demand at louinfo.com and the Lou Info app, which you can download now live in the Apple App Store and Google Play, wherever you download your apps, whatever phone you have. The Lou Info app is live now. That way you can watch, listen, whatever you want to us right there, right at your fingertips. And Brendan, we were talking about some big games from last weekend. How about the Mississippi State Bulldogs knocking off then number 12, the Arizona State Sun Devils? And probably the most exciting game of the weekend. It's a late touchdown pass that wins it. What a game. After Mississippi State kind of let a big lead slip away, they find a way to come out victorious.
And I love to see it. Had him as a double dip for me in our picks last week. Took him as one of my bonuses as well. You had Mississippi State on your side of things too. Yeah, I thought they could cover and potentially win this game. And the fact that they've done it, I mean, that's another little interesting wrinkle now thrown into Missouri's future schedule with how that team has looked, with how Auburn has looked so far. Vanderbilt we'll get into. I mean, there's some of these teams in the SEC. Yeah. Mizzou was said to have had the easiest conference schedule of all the teams. I don't know about that one. I mean, that's a Mississippi State team that could end up being a lot better than people thought this year.
I agree. And we talk about some big games. Michigan at Oklahoma, 24-13 win over Oklahoma. Still not sure how sold I am on Michigan. Think they have to figure some things out. But that was an impressive, really a business-like performance from the Sooners. No messing about with it. They just kind of went out and dominated from first whistle to last.
Yeah, Oklahoma's going to be a force to be reckoned with. They've got a really difficult schedule, so like if they come out with a 9-3 from this schedule, they're going to be there's a case to be made for them as a playoff team, almost regardless of what the other teams' records are near the top of the table in FBS. I mean, they could afford a couple of losses and still be sitting pretty. And look, I don't think Michigan's very good, and so there's still more to prove if you're OU, but certainly handled that test the way you would want to see.
And then Vandy, you mentioned it. They were down. What was the score at one point in this game? I'm trying to find it. They were down big to Virginia Tech at one point, and then they came out and shut the Hokies down. It was 20-10 at halftime, and then Vandy came out, scored on their all 5 drives they had. They scored a touchdown on in the second half. And then they got the ball back and kneeled it out.
Yeah,
5 drives, 5 touchdowns.
It's pretty impressive. And end up winning that game on the road 44-20. So, Vandy's an interesting one. Diego Pavia told us what Vandy would be before the season. We were like, that's cute. All right, dude, I'm telling you what. There's a game being played this Saturday night that I will consider my most interesting game of the week. And it's Vandy at South Carolina. 2 teams on Missouri's upcoming schedule. One of them next week, the other one a little bit later on in the season on the road. That's the one for me, Grant. Vandy, South Carolina is the game of the week this weekend in college football. I cannot wait to watch it.
And it's being played on SEC Network.
Yeah, well, you know what? Vandy's kind of got a little bit of that STP, just like Mizzou does, because they're not ever going to get the big billing, right? But they win a game like this one on the road. I mean, one, it'll probably cost Mizzou game day. Mizzou probably won't get game day anyway because of the powers that be. But Vanderbilt can win this game on the road. As we get into the picks, the picks here, I think that's going to be a fascinating one to kind of dive into.
You should cheer for South Carolina, though.
I'm rooting for South Carolina to win because I want there to be, if they deny game day to Mizzou on September 20th, I want it to be because of their own incompetence and not because, South Carolina gives them an out by losing.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I want South Carolina to win the game. But if Vandy does, I'll be very impressed. And, they should be ranked in the top 20 if they do. Yeah,
I agree. Oh, without a doubt. Well, you've segued it. Why don't we get right into it? Let's go with our picks of the week. Brennan Schaefer. We're going off of the DraftKings Sportsbook current line. And we are going to pick every SEC game this week because there are no FCS games being played.
Good. You're not going to try to, get something out of here that you don't want to pick, that you're afraid to pick. I appreciate that. Last week, I have us both at 9-8 from last week.
That's not bad.
I mean, if you were betting it at sports books with the -110 odds, you probably would have broken even basically, rather than made people money. But we're just doing 1 unit per play here
in our world,
without a vig, without a juice to lay, just because it makes the math a little bit easier. So I had us both going 9-8. I actually had to go back and listen to some of what we said because I looked at the sheet as I was grading it, and I thought, Grant didn't pick Utah State. Why did it? So I did. I had that flipped on the sheet originally, but now I got it right. I had Utah State. You had A&M. You rolled out Ball State. I trusted Auburn. That one burned me. I had Alabama over the Warhawks of ULM. You lost that one, but
by a lot.
We both had a solid week. Yeah, that wasn't close. I knew Alabama would kind of, the way that they were perceived previously, they just wanted to take out some aggression. So, but fewer and fewer of those types of games as we move along. There will still be some of them this week, but yeah, we'll do every SEC game and then pick our 5 favorite bets of the week, which can include those SEC games if any of us want to double down and double up.
Well, let's start with Wisconsin at Alabama. An intriguing game played down in Tuscaloosa. I'm not sure how good Wisconsin is. I'm also not sure what Alabama is. It's a 21-point spread in favor of Alabama. I'm going to take the Badgers plus 21 in this, and I think I might regret it, but I could just see like a 28-10, kind of an ugly game, and the Badgers cover 21 points.
Yeah, I don't like picking Alabama here because they haven't really shown me that they can do this against good competition. Oh, I'm going to fall into the trap, though. Give me Alabama. I already off the top feel terrible about this pick. I think you're up on me by a game before we even really get started. 11 a.m. kick, too. That score is going to be like 23-10 Alabama.
It's never a place you want to be.
What the hell was I thinking? No, it's not.
I feel like I'm getting trapped with this line. Temple plus 23.5 at home against Oklahoma.
And it's at the Eagles Stadium.
It's
so
at
kind of
Temple.
Home. Technically, it's not at Temple, though. Right? Temple's got their own field, but they're playing it at the Link.
And I don't think the Link's going to be packed. That's just me. I just...
Did you see some reporters on a hot mic talking about how bad the environment's going to be?
Yeah.
Some Oklahoma reporters. It doesn't matter. They weren't wrong, but it's funny. Temple's kind of trying to use that as fuel. Temple posted a graphic where they had like a Baker Mayfield mugshot kind of hidden in the corner of the graphic. So they want that smoke. I don't really know if they want that smoke, but the number, 23.5. How much do we trust OU here?
This reminds me of Missouri's trip to UMass to Amherst. I think Temple's probably better than UMass by a little bit. I think Temple beat UMass. Pardon me. It was a close game though. I'm going to go the Temple's also not very good and really bad, and 23.5 is a bad line, and give me the Sooners.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Oklahoma wins it by a good 28-31 points. So I'll take OU. Don't steer me wrong here though, OU. I hate these big line games, but yeah, I think Oklahoma can. Temple stinks. I think this will be fine.
There's a lot of these. We go Auburn 24.5 point favorite against South Alabama. A lot of them where it could get ugly, but if the team it just hangs around long enough, they'll cover. That's what it is. South Alabama, an okay team against Auburn. I think Auburn's going to come out and lay an egg and not look as dominant and win 34-10, and South Alabama covers 24.5. They have some talent.
Man, I see last week I went Auburn because I was like, they're going to roll. And they did roll. They won by 39, but the spread was 42. This week, the spread's only 24.5. I think Auburn can similarly roll. The number is so much more favorable.
Yeah.
It is a better team, but like they handled their business completely last week, 42-3. It just, the number was too big. I'm going to go Auburn, SEC homer here, in-state game. I can regret it. I can regret it, but I mean, they just played Tulane and only lost by 2. South Alabama did. So
yeah,
I hate this number, but I could be stepping in it right now, man. I could be off to an 0-3 start and be going 2-1. But we'll ride Auburn.
Game we've talked about a little bit, Louisiana at Missouri. Missouri is a 26.5 point favorite. I'm going to go Tigers. I think what we talked about, they're going to roll. They're going to put up some points. And Louisiana, if they pitch a shutout or even score 7, I trust Missouri to score at least 35.
Give score prediction for this one. -26.5 taking the Tigers, but
38-10 Missouri.
38-10.
They get a late touchdown, Louisiana, like Central Arkansas did.
I reserve the right to change this a little bit later today when I do it for the big show, but I think Mizzou covers for sure. I'll go. No, screw it. 41-0.
Whoa!
I don't think I'm going shutout. I think it's important to pitch a shutout. 41-0.
Okay.
Tigers.
We got the biggest game up next, Georgia at Tennessee. The biggest game, if you look at ranked matchups, it's going to be a packed out Neyland Stadium. They're really, really, really hyped up this, but it's going to go. Oh, and they're getting 4 points. Pardon me. It's going to go differently, yes, than the last time that they had this big of a game, which was the third Saturday in October against Alabama a few years ago. I'm going to go Georgia goes in there. We haven't seen a lot from this Tennessee team against good competition, and they find a way to cover and win this game. Georgia -4.
It wasn't a few years ago. I think it was last year Tennessee beat.
No, that was 2 years ago that they beat Alabama and threw it in, I thought.
No, last year.
At Neyland?
Yeah.
I thought that was 2023.
It says here 2024. Let me look.
On the game-winning field goal?
October 19th, 2024, Tennessee beat Alabama. That just happened. That was last year.
I know, but I thought I think we're both right. I think I'm thinking of a different game.
Tennessee knocks off Alabama after Will Brooks picks off Jalen Miller. Dylan Sampson scores twice.
Yes, I'm thinking of the game. I apologize. I should have said the last time they had game day was when they kicked that dramatic game-winning field goal. Remember, it got tipped
2022,
and it still went through, and they tore down the goal. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay,
that's what I should have said.
Fair enough. Yeah, but Tennessee. So you're saying though Georgia wins this one?
Georgia wins this one and covers -4. I'm really confident about Georgia winning. I don't love the number I have.
Hate the number,
but I really think Georgia's going to win this football game.
I agree with you. They might win by 3, but we'll both go down with the ship because I think that it'll be kind of like I looked at last night's game in the NFL. I'm like, Packers are going to roll in this game, but the number was 3.5, and I didn't like it. And then they ended up covering. So yeah. Give me Georgia -4.
UTEP at Texas. Texas is -40.5.
I'm so tired of this Texas team.
Texas is going to roll 40. Give me 40.5.
They haven't.
They're gonna. It's UTEP. They'll score 42 points. UTEP won't score.
That's what we said last week against San Jose State. It didn't work.
Give me Texas -40.5. I have no analysis.
-40.5.
No analysis. Maybe take the under 51.5.
If they do it to me again like this, I'm going to be really irritated. I like UTEP, but I'm going to take Texas because I don't want the. There's going to be a week where they finally put it all together, but they didn't seem to care to cover last week. Yeah, I feel like that could happen again.
In the picks of the week, I have a team that I bet on both times and they've lost, but I'm going to go back because what's the definition of insanity? Okay. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Arkansas is getting 6.5 points. A fun game. I'm
at Ole Miss.
I feel the same way because Ole Miss never covers. They win, but they never cover. And Arkansas, I don't know how good they are.
Yeah,
a really high over under 62.5.
Could be a really fun game if the over under hits.
Taylon Green is going to do enough and keep Arkansas in this game. I still think they lose. I'll go like 28-24. It's not going to be as high scoring as people think, but give me the Hogs to cover.
I think the Arkansas Razorbacks actually win this football
game.
Yep.
Whoa.
I might even find a little jurisdiction of legality to try.
Whoa.
Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, if he loses this game, man, there are going to be some really upset people in Oxford. But I think that could happen tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. A&M at Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish are 6.5 point favorites at South Bend. I like this line, maybe at 7.5 A&M. But I think Notre Dame's got something to prove. I'm a little out on A&M, especially the last really 6 games they played haven't looked great. I think the Irish come in, they run the ball well, they slow down Notre Dame. I still think it's close, like 17-10, but Notre Dame wins and covers.
I don't think Texas A&M is very good.
Yeah.
We're in lockstep a lot this week. I just don't think A&M's very good. I think Notre Dame, I think that they are. They disappointed me against Miami, but I think Notre Dame, they'll get a win. Notre Dame hasn't won a game yet this year. So give me Notre Dame by a touchdown. I agree.
Florida at LSU. This line has gone down. I think it opened Florida plus 9.5. Now it's Florida plus 7.
7.
Down in Death Valley.
This is going to be interesting, bro. We're going to find out about Billy Napier with this game. I'm telling you. If they cover, it's like, okay, let's keep watching. If they lose by that 10 or 13 or 14 or more,
it'd be the most Brian Kelly thing ever to lose this game. It really would be.
Kind of would.
But LSU covers -7. I think it's going to push. This is one of those.
If it pushes, you're fine. If it pushes.
This is one of those situations.
If it pushes, we'll tie. But it's the only way we'll tie because I'm going Florida.
This is one of those situations, Brendan, that if you're betting on this game actually in a jurisdiction of legality, I think you buy the half point.
I would generally agree with that. I don't really care which side you're betting.
Yes.
I hate that 7. I mean, that's a rarity to see a right on 7.
I would be shocked.
I think Florida could win the game, though. You did say it, Brian Kelly. It would be a very Brian Kelly thing to have happen. Because, remember, why do we think LSU is number 3 in the country right now? This is my analysis. It's because they beat Clemson. Is Clemson good? Don't think so. They barely beat Troy last week. I think we may be overrating LSU simply because of the Clemson win, when Clemson, in fact, is going to have their Florida State season this year. They're not going to go 2-10, but they're going to go 6-6. Clemson might just be very mid. And then we look back and go, oh, South Florida, a little better than we thought. Clemson, a little worse than we thought. That explains the early results. Florida can go in and get a win. Maybe I am just drinking the Billy Ball Kool-Aid here, but give me Florida at least with the +7.
Yeah, you've convinced me. Give me Florida +7.
No, bullcrap. I already wrote it down. No way. No way.
That's stupid.
You're LSU. You're really going to switch just because I'm
that smart? Whatever. Eastern Michigan at Kentucky. I don't. Good my gut says Florida. That's why. It's normally.
Then why'd you pick LSU?
Because so sometimes your brain saying one thing and your gut saying something. I trusted my brain, but I want to go with my gut. No,
I will let you change.
No, I can't. I can't. Because now if LSU loses and doesn't, or if they do cover and I change it, then I'm just in a conundrum now.
You're on LSU. That's official. 2 more to go, and then we'll get to our top picks.
Eastern Michigan at Kentucky. Eastern Michigan is +24.5. I'm going to fade Kentucky as long as I can. Give me Eastern Michigan. I don't know if Kentucky can even score 24 points.
They might not be able to, but Eastern Michigan should stink, right?
Yeah,
what have they done so far?
I think they'll probably score 10 points. I'd go 10.
Eastern Michigan, just to be clear, Eastern Michigan lost to the team that Florida beat 55-0, the FCS. I will be taking Kentucky -24.5, based on thinking that Florida's pretty decent. And maybe they're not. But
they lost to an FCS school?
They lost to the LIU team that Florida beat 55-0.
What?
You already said it. Do your research. All right, Vandy, South Carolina.
I still doesn't matter to me.
Yep.
When this was 4.5, I would have taken Vandy. I know you think Vandy can win this game.
It's down to 3?
At -3. South Carolina. I'll take the Gamecocks -3.
I love that you did that. Vanderbilt's winning this football game. Vanderbilt's a better team. I think I wouldn't have said that preseason, but I'm saying it now. South Carolina. So we did end up with some differences at the end there.
We did.
Right, well, what's our 2 picks? You lead us off here.
I will start us off, and I will go to the NFL, where I will take the Denver Broncos to beat the Indianapolis Colts. I'll take them. I don't know. They're -1.5. They're -120 on the money line. I'll take either one. It does not matter.
Go spread.
I'll go I'll go Broncos -1.5.
All right. That's what the spread is. Vanderbilt. I don't like that the number is moving, but Vanderbilt's going to win outright, so I can take the +3 and
you're doubling down.
That little bit of a cushion. Yep, doubling down. The last 2 weeks, my 2 confident picks have been LSU over Clemson, Mississippi State over Arizona State, and this week it's Vanderbilt.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And with that, as I second guess, I double check my spread. Oh no. Oh, well, I'll do it anyway. Duke was +3. Now they're +1.5. I'll take Duke +1.5.
Against who?
The Tulane Green Wave at Tulane. Give me Duke. That quarterback, it's his revenge game at Tulane.
You saw what happened with that whole Illinois Duke thing last week. They burned you.
Illinois is better than Tulane. Bounce back game for the Blue Devils.
I don't think much of Duke. Give me Tulane.
Whoa, he's fading me.
Well, yeah, because of the number moving. I think it's getting even easier. That reverse line movement, I'm like, whatever. There's no reason for Tulane to lose it at home. Although they did just barely get by South Alabama, but that was a road game. This is going to be home. Fair.
I will now go to
you
a little
research so easy. When I don't have to research, I can just fade your dumb picks. It makes it so much easier.
I'll go to Southern Miss +3.5 against Appalachian State at home.
Oh my gosh.
This Southern Miss team, App State's bad.
Yeah, and you know what? Southern Miss, we thought, should be able to beat Mississippi State. Maybe Mississippi State was just that good. It wasn't a referendum on Southern Miss that first game of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case.
Maybe. I'm not sure,
Oh,
but I
boy.
think that they got watching that Mississippi State game. They got a couple guys that I liked, so I'll go back to the well.
And looking at this NFL game, Ben Johnson returns to Detroit,
Ooh.
leading the Bears. Lions didn't look good last week. They didn't look good.
No, they look.
But I found out last night that the Packers are the best team in the NFL.
Oh,
So I'm not afraid of this line. Lions -6.5. I saw some things from Caleb Williams that convinced me it's over. It's not going to work.
He's bad.
Not even Ben Johnson. He was terrible. Some of those throws that he was missing. Maybe I'm overreacting. I've seen a lot of talk online about, the DJ Moore ran the wrong route. Like, it's not all Caleb's fault. One game I'm out on him, and I have Caleb Williams on like every fantasy team. I'm still going to hold him because I feel as though he could still put up some fantasy points. But I'm going to go Lions -6.5, specifically because I think we're getting a better line than we should be when you think about just how good the Packers actually are. I think Packers-Bills is your Super Bowl this year.
Whoa.
I'm convinced of that already. So give me Lions -6.5, hosting Ben Johnson and the Bears.
I'll take America's Darlings. I'm not making the horns. I'm making a bull. Give me the USF Bulls.
Let's go.
+17.5 against the Miami. Against the U, we're breaking the U.
That's a pick I probably should have looked at. We can't take each other's picks on these double downs. So I just miss out. I like that pick. What happens if USF wins? I really think then if South Carolina and USF win this weekend, game day is a lock to come to Columbia.
Yeah.
Like Miami is the one game I should be scared of. The Indiana thing, who's Indiana play this weekend?
They play Indiana State.
Oh, okay. So
and Illinois
plays
plays Southern West Mississippi University State
doesn't make
College.
Here's what I'll do. Indiana -47.5 against Indiana State. Kurt Fraudnetti is the biggest fraud in collegiate coaching today. And because he wants to look real good and try to pour it on the poor Sycamores. And so that's my logic behind that. Indiana -47.5. They might win by 60.
Hopefully
that's all he can do is beat up on the little guy. Is all Indiana can do.
Hopefully Larry Bird's helped them out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Hoosiers reluctantly. I hope they lose outright.
Oh,
I'm so tired of that Indiana crazy. Kurt Fraudnetti. Give me a break.
Okay. I'll take the best team, not the best team, the team with the best quarterback in the NFL to get revenge at home. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs outright to win this game. Actually, I think the new line. I think this new line is +1.5. So I'll take a boost of 1 point. Yeah,
we're not giving you any credit for like a unit is a unit. We did it with Mississippi State. Where
that was different.
You the chance with USM.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a big spread, we could go money line and give you extra units. But for this one, I think
I'll go +1.5.
+1.5.
Mm-hmm. But I think if you're betting this, take their money line. If you're in the actually just betting,
yeah, because you get a little bit of a bonus.
It's +105. Yeah,
I'm searching all. I tell you what, I'm searching all the prop boards, and they're not going to give it to me. They're not going to give me a line on a player prop.
Okay.
From Mizzou running backs, I would take either of them. Will you allow me to go off board and you set a line for Mizzou team rushing?
Team rushing.
And if you set a line that I consider to be to my liking, I'll take the over on it. And be aggressive if you want to be. Be as aggressive as you want to be.
I would set the team rushing at 189.5 yards.
That's not high enough. I'm not going to let you do that to me. Team rushing.
What would you set it at?
Will you let me, like, again, I'm going to make this tougher on myself. Will you let me say Mizzou team rushing 299.5 yards? And I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Will you give me 2 units if I win?
Yes.
Okay. I think Mizzou is going to run. I did predict, 41-0.
Yeah.
I'm going over 299.5. I only lose 1 unit if I lose it, but I can gain
fair.
2 units if I win it.
I think Mizzou all in on
300 rushing yards at least.
All right.
It might be more like 350.
We went a little over time, so we got to go quickly here. I'm Grant Salzman. He's Brennan Schaefer. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to MIZ-STL, and make sure to listen to Charlie Tuna in the Posse up next on the Loot Information Station. We're done for now.
Broadcasting live from the J. Randolph Jr. Studios in Kirkwood.
Is stronger than grandmother.